Let's start this meeting in order here. We'll do invocation. Mr. Don Garland, would you please bless the meeting?
Yes, sir. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love and your watch care. We thank you for our opportunity to serve our people. We ask now that you would be with our military personnel all over the world, their families here at home. Bless this meeting. Be with our chairman as he leads us. Forgive us of our sins. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Don. Roll call.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Tom Garvin. Bill England.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Julia Coates. Here. Jody Fishinghawk. Meredith Fraley. Here. Janelle Fulbright. Here. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Chuck Hoskin Jr. Gloria Jordan.
Present.
Lee Keener. Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
David Thornton. David Walkenstick. Eric Allen Watts.
Ani.
We did it one.
This time we'll go to the approval of minutes.
Make a motion.
A motion and second discussion. All signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Reports, we have Talking Leagues Job Corps. Ms. Diane Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate the opportunity to get to meet with you this afternoon and your committee. All your smiling faces. You have the report. One of the things that we did is we tried to give you a graph this time to give you an idea about what we're doing. And the bottom part of this is highlighting Talking Leagues Job Corps. And I think Chief is going to recognize some of the staff on the work that they did. We have graduation coming up August the 24th. Our graduating class will be about 200 that will be graduating at the Job Corps Center on the 24th. It'll be at 10 o'clock. You should have received your invitations by now. There are 12 performance ratings that we actually get graded on every month by the United States Department of Labor. GED, career technical training, credentialing, GED and high school diplomas, literacy, numeracy, job training match, former enrollees, graduate placement, 6 months placement, 6 month earnings, and 12 months placement. And I've got 4 staff over there that has to track this every week like clockwork. They are constantly in there tracking all of these students, these 265 students that we have, plus anybody who has graduated who's left. Every week we receive new students, and every week we have students going out on work-based learning. And so they're tracking these students so that we can get the performance ratings. And I don't know if you knew that, but there's a lot that goes into that. And if we're down on our earnings, then we have to make sure that we go up in the enrollee area to offset those numbers. So Delbert Stanley, Jay Littlejohn, the center director, and Gerald Wallace, one of our business teachers, and Ramona Holt, our academic area, they are constantly, they've got charts up in their offices tracking this every month. Looking at Frankie. Frankie worked over there at one time. She knows what I'm talking about. But our OMS rating was 97% with a ranking of 53 out of 124 nationwide. And that's the highest ranking we've ever had. And I know that the Chief's going to recognize the staff tonight at the council meeting. And I just wanted to give you a little background on them so that you kind of know what they go through every month or every week. I have some staff, a staff person here today, Laura Jones. She is our business technology instructor. Laura, why don't you stand up? She has 2 students, Pamela Evans from Kansas, Oklahoma, and Mary Reese from Briggs Community. And they're 2 students in our business technology class. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty good at memories, but Councilman Walkenstick asked back at Christmas about the little pads that we gave out. I told you that we were going to get those to you. You asked when we were going to get them. We had a teacher that left, and there was about 2 months in there we didn't have an instructor. And then when Laura went back up there, that was one of the first things that we charged her with doing. So the students have pads for all of you today that's got your name, your address, and council on there. So if you want to give them out, go right ahead. This is Pamela, and this is Mary. And they studied your map with your pictures so that they could get this out in the They know they're council representatives, but they weren't familiar with the faces, so we have the map, got everybody's pictures on it. Thank you, ladies. They just recently moved into their new location up at the Southgate building. The first building now is all of Taro. John Obracker and Tammy and Cindy have moved the files and everything. So that building is strictly just Taro now. And they have moved the business technology class over to the west building. And they're down on the first floor. And then up on the second floor is our med surge. And then off to the side is our building place. So they've moved out. So it's all a training center and our job corps recruitment in the west building.
Well, Diane, thank you. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Our
Appreciate you.
pleasure.
And
Thank you.
Walking Stick, thank you for bringing it up. This is just pretty good on.
Thank you. Thank you.
He sits there, did I really bring this up?
Well, I had to punch him, but he brought it up.
Maybe at Christmas they'll get you some more.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
little overdue. I wanted to remind everybody, I think we passed these out. I had sent them over here to Gail and asked her to get these out to you. This is John James's project, and it's also a project that we are combined with C&B, but it's on the broadband, and they are actually going to be conducting a survey in the 14 counties. Once the survey is completed, then they'll put the business plan together that'll go into USDA. There's about $150 million that's out there available, and one of the things they've done is they've encouraged Indian tribes to compete for those dollars because they want to make sure that this goes out into Indian country, out into the rural areas. So I want to share this with you. So if you'll help us get the word out and make sure that people answer that survey, we'll greatly appreciate it because it's going to mean computer service for people out in these rural areas, plus that they can get telephone service and they'll be able to get television service as a result of this.
I have a question. Councilman Hargis.
Yeah, Diane, do we have the same training programs there at Job Corps, or have they changed, or have we ever considered changing them to fit more of the area?
We actually did away with the, I think it was the one that you order, I can't think of what it's called. We did away with that, and we were asked to expand on the health field. We have an advanced health program over there, so we've got like three classes of health.
What are the trainings offered over there?
It's medical technology, CNA, and I can't think, there's another one, it's advanced, but I'm not really sure what it is. They took what was the library area, that big area, that's all of health careers, plus they've got two classrooms up on the other end. And that's what we're doing, is expanding in the health area, because that's where all the jobs were. And that's what we have to do, is we have to look at those trades every year and exactly where the job market is. And we have to submit this information when we do our 5-year plan. And at the end of the 5 years, we had to modify that to include that. And
So
did
we
away
do
with material
look at
handling.
changing those
Yeah.
at times?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and are we at full capacity or staying there? or
We were at full capacity before the summer break. They've only been back a week. We're not right up to full capacity, but we think we will be probably within the next week or two. We had a waiting list of people to get in, and they had to get their physicals because we have zero tolerance, and they had to be able to pass their drug test in order to get in.
Exactly. Are we doing better on that? I know when I was there, we had many of them going home every week. Are we?
We have a full-time TEAP counselor, Margaret Terrapin, and she is over there, and she's doing a really good job, and we're really doing good as far as our zero tolerance with our kids. We don't have as many going home as what we used to have.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Diane, congratulations on Talking Leave Job Corps ranking. That was great to see, and all the other work that you do. On the broadband survey, can we get a list of those questions that will be asked, or the actual questions that will be being asked, and will the summary of the statistics be provided?
Yes, I'll talk to John and make sure that he emails that out to all of y'all.
Is that being done in-house, or did we contract for an outside
We
vendor?
contracted with a Michael Speed, and he's actually putting the survey together, him and his team. That's who we met with about 3 to 4 weeks ago. And I think it's about a 2-page survey. It shouldn't take over 10 minutes to take the longest.
And I'd hope to make that meeting, I heard it was a real success. Is that the name of his company, is Michael Speed,
No,
or is it?
I can't tell you what the name of it is, but Michael Speed is the gentleman who came out to work with us. And he's who Heather Griffin at CNB had contracted
Okay.
with to work with us on getting that information.
Because I'm sure we'll start having questions about it, and we'll be happy to put it out in our area and those things. But if we can have a list of those actual questions being asked beforehand, I'll help us anticipate what those
Okay.
questions might be.
Be glad
Thank
to.
you.
Phil Reedy has been assigned through CNB to work with that group. So Phil was added to the group last week. So he'll be working with John James, and then after they get the survey finished.
Okay, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Watkins,
Hey, Diane, we're about to do our budgets next week, or next couple of weeks, and I know our work program, I think we had some, our budget's been depleted, and there's people I was put on what was it a week, or every Friday they was able to work or something. Did we run out of money in our work program somewhere?
On the day work program,
Day work program, yeah.
day work has always been Monday through Thursday, because we use Fridays to reconcile our cards, our bank cards, and then we also use Friday to go through all of the applications through the week so that the counselors have time to decide where they're going to place them and work up a training plan for them, or a work plan on the different types of referrals. It gives the counselors time to start working with the clients on Fridays. On the 21st, we are actually shutting day work down, except the C&B piece. The C&B piece will still continue, and I think there's a couple of projects. One is the Cherokee holiday. There's going to be workers assigned to that over the weekends, and we'll be shut down until October the 1st.
Why are we doing that?
Because of the budget, and because we need time to go through all of those files and make sure that there's not somebody that's fell through the cracks. I only have so many counselors. Not only are they doing day work, they're doing vocational training, and we need them to shift their time to vocational training, because all the vocational training classes are getting ready to start up, and they need time to go through and work on those vocational applications.
How much money are you projecting to run the day work program for the whole 12 months?
I don't actually have the figure in front of me, David, but I can get that for you.
remainder of the year,
Part of my
David?
Yeah, remainder of the year.
You finish out the year, I think, is what he's
Yeah,
asking.
yeah. I mean, if the 21st is the last day, then the remainder is until October 1st.
Yes. But one of the main reasons that we're doing that is because we shift the counseling staff in one area. Right now, I've got bukus of applications of vocational that's coming in for the fall semester, and they've got to have time to work on those files, and then they'll go back to day work. I don't have the luxury of having specified counselors just doing day work and specified counselors just doing vocational. They're all having to
Could
pitch
you
in.
email us not a wish list, but some areas in your program that may fall short on budgeting?
Can, sure can. Right now, it looks like that with the amount that we've got, it'll help us to get through, but we may fall short a little bit in some areas, and if we do, I'll make sure that I get with the chief on it and we'll correct it. But we're reconciling all that right now at the end of the year.
Okay. Yeah, shoot us that email if you would.
Councilman
And
Hoskins? Oh, go
Well,
ahead.
I was going to say, you're doing an impressive job. When I look at all these reports and all the responsibilities that you do, and that leadership for the youth that you guys put together, it's just amazed. So
I've got
keep
good
up the work.
managers and good staff.
Okay, all right, good job.
Councilman Hoskins?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Diane, first off, thank you for the summer youth. The kids in my area have handled themselves very well, and the reputation of the program just grows in my area for that reason, and I appreciate it. Second thing I wanted to ask you was, is it the case that Bank of America provides our cards for our day work program, correct? And we've talked about it before, I think, but there is a Terrell certified bank in my district that says they can do it. when will the opportunity for someone to bid on that work come up? Is it something we bid out? Is there a way that
Our
we-
treasurer, Lacey Warren, and Jody Reese and Jamie Cole and I have visited about that. And Lacey is amenable to looking into that to see if they can do it at a cheaper rate. She did check on Bank of America, and Bank of America did reduce the amount that they were actually charging us for those cards. So they did come in at a reduced rate, and she is checking into that, and she welcomed any of these other banks who came forward and said that they could do it at a cheaper rate, so they are looking into
Well,
it.
that's good. And just like anything, Taro, if we've got two entities that are more or less in the same ballpark price-wise, Taro ought to win every time. And I think we have an underutilized Taro Bank in my district, and I don't know how many Taro banks we have, but
We have one here in Cherokee County
so
as
maybe
well.
we have two Taro banks that could be doing this work. I don't know if they can. I know the one in my neck of the woods says they can. So anyway, but I appreciate you looking into that. Thank you. Thank
We
you.
are.
You're welcome.
And we can report back to you after they do their analyzation of it, if you'd like.
Okay. Good report, Diane.
Thank you.
Next report, Executive Director Report, Dr. Neil Morton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon to council members. I'm particularly happy today because of the guest that is with me. I have the brand new superintendent of Sequoia High School, Mr. Leroy Qualls. Mr. Qualls has been on board, it's his second week, and we met with teachers a week ago today. Students came in last Wednesday, and school's in session, and everything's normal. I don't know whether we even need to hire a AD and principal or not. Mr. Gerald, he's doing a fantastic job, and that makes everybody happy. Morale is high at Sequoia, and Mr. Claus, we're glad you're here.
Does he want to say something?
We actually do need a principal and athletic director. I just wanted to state.
Our first argument.
We got around 380 kids, around 76 in the dorm, around 300 day students. Good group of kids, so it makes my job much easier. Mr. Garvin has seen me chase kids around before. I don't know if I'm as fast as I used to be.
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr.
How many did you have to turn back to accept?
I'm asking for numbers. That's one thing that is not good. I don't know how we determine in the future. One thing that we're going to do is move our deadline up a little bit. There's people at the last minute that don't know if they're going to be going to school at Sequoia or not. But like you said, I came in very late. And one of the things that we'll try to address for next year. And we're going to be caught in that position. It's not like in '95 when we didn't have enough kids to keep going. School was kind of in danger of shutting down. And now, sadly, we can't take them all because of lack of space in classrooms and staff. So I hope that we can have a controlled growth in the future and take more kids.
A lot of people want to go to Sequoia. It's got a good reputation now. One of the best schools in the state. I can see why they'd want to go.
Well, I totally agree with that. It's just something that we'll have to look at in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Councilman Fulbright?
Yes. I want to say congratulations and welcome and how proud I am of you. And I remember when you graduated from the 8th grade at Bellefonte, and my mom and dad were teaching over there, and my dad was the principal. And it's just so important that we maintain our small rural Indian schools because what they produce is people like you. And so we're proud of you and all your accomplishments. And I know you do a great job.
Thank you very much. I'm sure dad's looking down and thinking, he's thinking that big old paddle worked. I never had to use it, I knew it was there. Dr. Morton can tell you, we had an accreditation meeting last week that we had to explain that to the State Department of Ed representative, that rural education is important, because in transition, a lot of kids don't make it.
Right.
The more they close down, I'm afraid the dropout rate will go up. That with the EOIs, we've got to be careful with how we look at things and how we do things in education.
Councilman Fishing Hawk?
You know, a couple of years ago, I asked about this, and I've watched it the last little bit, Dr. Martin. What is our plan to bring up the average ACT?
I'm sorry.
What's our plan to bring up the average ACT?
Okay. Mr. Qualls and I have discussed that at length. First of all, one of the reasons that our average ACT is lower than the region is that we require all students at Sequoia to take the ACT. All schools do not do that. All schools do a little bit of cherry picking there. And if they know that a student is not college bound, they may not test that student. Now, that doesn't solve the problem. It is still too low. But he and I have already discussed special programs in the dorms, special programs for summer, and also to build in an ACT prep program into all classes that have to do with writing, all of the English classes. Because, and to give them more practice tests. The more times they take it, the more, the scores go up.
Well, keep us abreast of that and let us know how it's working out. I said, could you keep us abreast of that and let us know how it's working out?
Very good.
Thank you.
Councilor Watts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Morton, what is the plan for college prep curriculum on campus at Sequoia?
Well, we will be heavily involved with the concurrent enrollment program.
So we'll continue to send
with
our students to
NSU.
NSU.
Plus, we also have, Mr. Qualls, is one or two classes that NSU will teach at Sequoia.
One English and one now we're working on
Where the prof from Northeastern will come to the Sequoia campus, so that we won't be infringing on the students' next class.
So calculus and physics and chemistry and biology will continue to go to NSU campus.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Walkinsett?
What's the status on the concurrent enrollment program? Is that going to be up and going?
Concurrent enrollment is up and going. It will be slow to start off with because, you see, we need the recommendation from the school, and some schools won't start until this Wednesday. Some have already started.
Yeah.
But when we got the recommendation from the school, and we've notified all of the schools that you'll send us your list of students who plan to enroll concurrently, then we will send the money to the school that they're attending.
Okay. Now the NSU, with NSU coming into Sequoia, will there be any fees for the kids at Sequoia?
I'm reading lips today, so.
Oh, sorry. The fees when the
In other words,
NSU.
the universities, colleges, universities waive the fee.
Okay.
That's through the state regent's office. So we will then pay the difference between the total cost of the student and the tuition. In other words, that'll be the fees, which runs about, some schools about 2/3 of the cost of tuition, some schools about 3/4, plus books and incidental supplies.
Okay.
So actually, a student should be able to carry 6 hours at no or minimal cost to the student. It's going to increase after they get 6 hours credit and they're already been a college student, and that fear of ninth grade, fear of freshman class is not going to be there.
Is that good?
Yes, thank you.
Dr. Martin, would you estimate how many award letters went out to for scholarships from Cherokee Nation?
1,620.
1,600.
That's where we've already. That's how many have already received notice that hey, you're online, you're funded. Now, I think everyone knows that we've had some problems this year with the online application process, and that has caused, especially when it has to do with scanning documents. So we will have probably another 600 to 700 students that will be processed and uploaded as quickly as possible. We've had something else happen this year that is sort of an anomaly. Even though the employment situation in our area is not good, youth are having easier time finding work, this summer. Probably some part through the programs operated by Diane Kelly. But having more students come in to see us saying, I didn't think I was going to go to school, but I was able to work this summer, and I'm going to be able to go. I'd like to apply for the scholarship. So we are still taking those, and we'll hold those as long as we have money and we'll find. Had one come in Friday that just, once in a while something happens that just think, the world is still okay. It's still okay. This young man came in. Neither he nor his family nor anyone else probably intended that he would ever go to college. He said, I got a job through the Cherokee Nation, and I'm working at night at one of the clinics, cleanup crew. He said, now I can't go to school this coming semester because my grandmother died and she was a caretaker of my grandfather. He said, I have to stay with him and help him, but different arrangements will be made after Christmas, and I want to go to college this spring. I assured him that you would send him to college.
Very good.
Those are the good stories.
Yes.
So we're having more of those come in and say, I was able to work this summer. I didn't think I'd go to college, but now I want to go.
Okay. Got one more question, Councilor Watts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the online scholarship, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't clear. We will continue to require community service hours?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Any more questions for Dr. Martin? Very good report. Thank you. We're trying to catch up here so we can get this last meeting started. Ms. Verna Thompson? Verna, as you're making your way, years ago, we were ranked number 1 in Head Start throughout the United States. Are we still there in the top 10? Are we still, if you're going to rate us with, I always start with 5 tribes. That's a good gauge to see how we're doing in education. Are we still doing?
We're still number 1.
Are we?
We
Wow.
are. We had a perfect review 4 out of 5 times, and that one happened about
Wow.
16 years ago. So we continue to try. And today was the beginning of the fall session with babies crying all over the place on the first day. So our chore is to convince the parents to leave them, that they don't cry 5 minutes after they're gone, they're okay. But we started our 30s, 4th year in Head Start and 16th year of early Head Start. So we're doing well. And full enrollment, but not staff-wise. So I plead to you all, if you have anybody in your areas that are folks looking for a job, please ask them to apply. We have approximately 20 here in the Tahlequah area.
If you will submit that to our Gail Miller or Shelley there, we'll
Okay.
we'll sure do some recruiting for you.
Okay.
And we have a question here, Councilman David Thornton.
Well, not actually a question. Been here for 13 years. They've been number one every year. But I think I figured out what they're doing.
What are they doing?
They're instructing the other schools on how to pass their
The review.
reviews. So they must be leaving something out. But isn't it wonderful that we have people like Dr. Morton, Verna, Diane Kelly. We've got the best people in the country.
Let me just
That I
say
know
that
of.
Dr. Morton is the first education director that has Head Start experience. In all my years, he's the first one.
But it's just something to have these type of people work.
Well, if you go recruit
Cherokee
good
Nation.
people like Missy Hamilton and Michael Phelps and them, they'll win you the gold. You got to have blue chippers.
Yeah.
Mrs. Harkis?
If you went on that
Will you
list
serve?
of positions, open positions, and what area, I mean, what location they're at.
Actually, if you could tell folks to go on the website for HR, that it really details.
Are they all on there?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of times, I've been on there, I haven't been on there this week, because I never see them.
Yeah, eventually they get on there.
Speaker Jordan?
Yes, and we might add for this program, she operates on 80% of her funding. 20% of it, she has to figure out how to gather up, book or crook through the year, and I hope that we will consider that when we go into our funding cycle, our budget cycle next week. She has never received more than 80% of the needed funding to run her program.
And I want to say thank you for the last year appropriations. It was very helpful.
Noted.
We have to raise 1.4 million of in-kind services, and they watched that budget just as much as the actual dollars. Any other questions?
Councilman, did you have a comment? Watch that.
Oh, I was going to say, you guys cook really good food.
That's Head Start. One of Head Start's claims.
Yeah.
I think all my kids went through it.
They did.
They
They did.
Yeah. Well, thank you for putting up with them. No, Bernie, you've done a good job, and we thank you for staying with us. I know there's been other opportunities. A lot of our Cherokee employees at your level, we just lost a housing authority director. There's always opportunities out there, and we just, commend you for staying with us.
I work with a wonderful, incredible group of people that we ask all the time who plans to retire from here, and for the most part, in senior staff, they're here to stay. So I enjoy working with them.
Good. Okay, thank you, Vernon. Okay, old business. Have anything in old business? I see none. I see none in new business. Any announcements? Okay, make a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.